Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a topic that's absolutely critical for the Indian economy and something you'll definitely want to have in your notes if you're preparing for exams. We're talking about artificial intelligence and how it's set to transform our small and medium enterprises. We're going to break down the playbook from the World Economic Forum, so let's get right into it.
So I want you to start with this number in your head, 63 million. Now, this isn't just some random statistic. That's the staggering number of micro, small, and medium enterprises, or as we all know them, MSMEs, that are quite literally the backbone of India's entire economy. When we talk about them, we're talking about the engine of the nation. All right, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get a real sense of the scale of our MSME sector. Then we'll look at the incredible billion-dollar promise AI holds for them. After that, we'll tackle the big question: what's holding them back? Then we'll unpack the framework designed to fix this. And finally, look at some real-world examples of AI in action. It's a perfect structure to follow along and build your notes.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1. Before we even whisper the letters A and I, we have to get our heads around just how massive and vital these 63 million businesses are to India's economic health. Just look at this breakdown. It's incredible. MSMEs are turning out nearly 30% of India's entire GDP. They're responsible for almost half of our total exports, and maybe most importantly, they employ over 230 million people. That's second only to agriculture. Seriously, for any exam answer on the Indian economy, these are the golden stats you absolutely need to remember. So now, let's build that bridge. We have this massive economic backbone. So what happens when we connect it with one of the most powerful technologies of our time, artificial intelligence? We're not just talking about cool new tech. We're talking about unlocking a tidal wave of economic value. And here it is. This is the number that should make everyone sit up and pay attention. The potential value that AI can unlock for India's MSMEs is estimated to be somewhere between 490 and 685 times billion dollars. That is a gigantic number, and it tells you exactly why this isn't just a tech issue, it's a national priority. So you might be asking, where does all that money come from? Well, what's so interesting here is the breakdown. It's not just one thing. A big chunk comes from boosting productivity. An even bigger chunk comes from slashing operational costs. And the third piece is all about improving financial inclusion, helping these businesses get the credit they desperately need. It's a three-pronged approach to creating value. Let's bring this down from the clouds. What does this actually mean for a small factory owner or a shopkeeper? Well, this slide nails it. We're talking about making their machines 10 to 30% more effective. We're talking about cutting their day-to-day running costs by almost a quarter. And imagine this, getting a business loan approved in hours, not weeks. That is a game changer. Okay, this all sounds amazing, right? So it leads to the big question. If the upside is so huge, why isn't every MSME in India already using AI? Well, Section 3 is where we get real and look at the roadblocks that are standing in the way. This quote says it all. It comes straight from an SME owner, and it just perfectly captures the mindset. For a small business, AI is just a buzzword. They're not interested in buying technology for technology's sake. They're asking, show me how this makes my business better, show me how it saves me money, and show me a clear path to get there. They need solutions, not slogans. Now, here's a really crucial concept you need to grasp. MSMEs are not all the same. They exist on a spectrum of what the report calls digital maturity. Some are still completely paper-based, while others might be using pretty advanced systems. This means a one-size-fits-all AI solution is destined to fail. You have to meet them where they are. This framework, by the way, is a fantastic way to structure an exam answer about implementation challenges. So the report boils all this down into 4 main hurdles. First, there's just a basic lack of awareness about what AI can even do for them. Second, many don't have the clean data or digital foundation needed to even start. Third, the AI tools out there can be way too expensive or complex. And finally, there's a massive skills gap. We just don't have enough people who know how to use this stuff. So we have a huge opportunity and some serious challenges. How do we bridge that gap? Well, that brings us to Section 4 and the solution proposed in the report, a very structured plan called the Impact AI Playbook. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know. Impact AI stands for an inclusive, multi-stakeholder pathway for the accelerated convergence of AI technologies. But honestly, the most important word to remember here is multi-stakeholder. What that means is that this isn't a problem any single group can solve. It needs the government, big tech companies, banks, and the MSMEs themselves all working together.
Okay, here's a little trick for your exam prep. The framework has 3 main pillars. To remember them, just think about helping MSMEs get RPAR, to get across, the AI hurdle. AAR, awareness, action, and recognition. It's a simple mnemonic that will help you recall the core structure in a snap.
So let's look at that first pillar, awareness. This is all about taking the mystery out of AI. The idea is to set up things like AI experience centers, where a business owner can walk in and literally see AI working in a setting that looks just like their own factory or shop. It's about building trust and showing, not just telling.
The second pillar, action, is where the rubber meets the road. It's about giving MSMEs the actual tools to get started. So you'd have an AI maturity index so a business can figure out its starting point. Then a marketplace with affordable, easy-to-use AI solutions. And finally, new ways to fund these projects. It's all about moving from just knowing about AI to actually doing something with it.
And the final pillar is recognition. This is brilliant because it's about human psychology. The plan is to create an MSME AI Pioneer program to celebrate the early adopters. Think about it. What's more powerful than seeing a business just like yours succeeding with this new technology? It creates role models and inspires everyone else to jump in.
All right, we've talked about the challenges and the framework. Now for the fun part. Let's move from all this high-level strategy down to the ground and see what this actually looks like in the real world.
This is such a perfect practical example. Okay, before AI, quality control in a small factory meant someone manually checking products. It was slow, and humans make mistakes. Now, with AI, you can have a simple camera with computer vision that scans every single item in real time. It spots defects instantly and can improve product quality by over 30%. That is the clear path to value that business owner was talking about.
The report also peeks into the future. And here's a key term for you to know: AI agents. Think of these as super smart assistants. They're autonomous systems that can handle really complex tasks all by themselves, like navigating the nightmare of export paperwork or automatically finding and applying for the best business loan. This is where things are headed.
And that really brings us to the final, most important question of all. As this powerful technology rolls out, how do we make sure it lifts everybody up? How do we make sure that AI becomes a tool for all 63 million MSMEs and not just a special advantage for the biggest and wealthiest ones? This is the central challenge for policymakers and for all of us.
All right, to wrap things up, here are the absolute key takeaways for your revision. This is your one-stop shop. You need to know the MSME numbers: 63 million units, 30% of GDP, 50% of exports. The AI potential, that massive $490 to $685 billion figure. The 3 value levers, the 4 core challenges, the 5 stages of digital maturity, and of course, the 3-pillar impact AI framework with our mnemonic AAR. You get these points down and you'll be in great shape. Thanks so much for joining me.